Hey, this is Lights at the Parish in Austin, Texas, and you're watching Blastro. I currently reside in Toronto, in Canada, but I didn't always live there. I was born in Northern Ontario. I was a Northern Ontario girl, actually from the same town that Shania Twain was born in, a little tiny northern town called Timmins, so I'll never be the coolest person from Timmins. Yeah, I moved around a lot growing up, and my family are missionaries, actually, so we traveled all around the world, and my dad always played his guitar, and from a young age I recognized how powerful music is, and it put me at peace in times that I was afraid. So it was something, as soon as my fingers were strong enough, I wanted to learn how to play songs and write songs and whatever. And as soon as I started that, I was 11, I think, when I first started playing, and never stopped. And kind of kept going at it, just kept writing, and ended up meeting my manager when I was 15 and putting songs online and getting signed as a songwriter. And, you know, things came in steps. But, yeah, my career has been a series of steps. The crossover from Canada to the States was a very gradual thing. It, just like anything, took a lot of work and a lot of coming back and a lot of touring and playing to 30 people and then playing to 60 and then playing to 100. You know, I never had the luxury of having a hit song here or getting played on MTV, so it's all been very grassroots, and just the people that are coming to the shows are there because they've heard about it from friends, or they saw it online, or it was resonated with someone that shared it with them, you know, and it's amazing. I feel really fortunate that, you know, it's never been handed to me on a silver platter. We've been coming back since 2008 and never stopped, and we're able to come back and keep playing. Social media is a big part of it. My first steps out into the music world were probably on MySpace back in the day. Old Navy actually found my songs in 2006 and put them in their campaign in 2007. So that was a big thing that social media provided for me, was that discovery, and then more and more people started to discover it, and it's just a great way to put stuff out. It's the greatest invention of our time, and I'm taking full advantage of it. There's obviously negative sides to social media, but you have to learn to just flush that out and take it for the good. It was a really fluky way that Bo and I met. We ended up meeting at a Taking Back Sunday reunion show in LA for some reason. Serendipity, I guess. But yeah, definitely not in a touring spectrum. It was just offside. We haven't sat down and tried writing something together yet. We have our whole lives to decide. Our music is very different. Not that that's anything that's ever deterred me. I've worked with a lot of people that are very different from my genre. But our writing styles are just so different, everything. So I don't know, we're having a hard enough time to find time alone, let alone do work together when we're together. But we've definitely messed around in my little studio and built dumb beats and stuff. Never went anywhere, but it's fun. You know, it'll probably turn into something eventually. The funny thing about Timing Is Everything is it was never intended to be a single. It was just a song on the record, and we weren't going to release it or make a video for it. But Ken Galloway approached the director of Timing Is Everything music video, approached us with the idea and said, I have this idea for this song, and if we can scrape together the money for it, it's dirt cheap, would you guys be willing to do it? And up until this point, I've always come up with the ideas for my treatments, you know, with my team and the people around me, and coming up with cool stuff. So this was the first I didn't actually come up with, but I thought, wow, that's going to be awesome. It's, you know, based on serendipity and finding love in the weirdest places, which is what I was talking about earlier. So we just went for it. We shot it in a night, and barely, you know, a lot of people just worked for free and to help him out, because he's just getting started, and he's an amazing director. So I couldn't believe the product that we got out of something that just came together like that. It's kind of funny, like, I'm not dealing with radio play or anything like that, so releasing singles is just releasing songs, making a video.
You don't know you've got to trust it will go if you just roll with the punches, your guts and your hunches.
You know, the collaboration thing is something that never ceases to amaze me, because it's always the ones that you least expect to be great that are great. And it's always the ones that are the most organic that are the best. And when you preconceive something too much, you're just disappointed. And I've worked with people that I thought were going to be great and it didn't actually turn out. But then the underdog comes up, like, didn't realize that Holy Fuck was going to be such a big part of my last record, and they were. Didn't realize that Shad would, well, I did know Shad would kill it. I just thought he's awesome, you know? So it's those are really organic things that make the best collaborations. So sometimes I think, is there someone I really want to work with? Is there someone I've dreamed of working with? Maybe, but that doesn't mean it's going to be great. You know, I'd love to do something with Kanye West. He seems to bring out the best in everyone, but I bet you if I got in there, it probably wouldn't be as great as working with Holy Fuck or someone else. You know, you never know.
It's getting hard to know if I'm on the tracks or off the beaten road. I know the truth, but there is a show.
It's funny that that's like common knowledge because I've never actually announced that I'm making this acoustic album, but somehow everyone knows. Because yes, I am. Yes, I am making an acoustic version of Siberia. It's the simplicity of that, and it's the beauty of showing that side of the songs. I'm so interested in production and beats and vibe that sometimes when you strip it away, it's a whole other thing. You know, it's so different from Siberia itself. I put a lot of focus on songwriting itself. When I was 11, that was what first fascinated me, was how the melodies and the vocals go together, and sometimes that can get lost in all the sounds. So it's the opportunity to show the songs just stand alone. Like I'm straddling awkwardly between like indie electronic and pop. I don't write pop lyrics per se. I don't write the kind of stuff that you hear on the radio, but I don't write extremely alternative either. So I'm in this weird place in between that is kind of hard to define. You know, it's not quite pop enough for pop, but it's not quite indie enough for indie. So it's an interesting spot that I find myself in, and I like it. It's great, but it's hard for some people to place it, I think. Musical influences range a lot. I mean, there's always like the current musical influences. Like on the last record, it was like Crystal Castles and a lot of dubstep stuff that was influencing me at the time. And now I'm listening to a lot of like Calm Trues and the real like down tempo electronic, really rich. But long-standing ones when it comes to songwriting is the stuff my dad raised me on, and that's Supertramp and Electric Light Orchestra and the Beatles and Bruce Springsteen, you know, these songs and U2 that have stood the test of time and shows you what good songwriting is. And then you look at someone like Björk, who I look at with the utmost respect for a completely different reason. I mean, she's her own thing. She's Björk. She does her own thing, and you can see it, and she's unswayed by the fact that she doesn't have a genre. She is Björk. So there's all these different pockets you find inspiration from, and this is the final tour of Siberia. It's the final tour of 2012 before I start working on new stuff. A little bittersweet. It's a month long. We started in San Francisco and, you know, San Diego, LA, Salt Lake City, Denver, Albuquerque, coming back up through Texas and then going up to the Northeast. A lot of shows. We're touring on the same record and the second time. And we were touring this time last year and earlier this year, some of these places. So it's kind of insane to be able to come back and still see people coming. You know, it makes me feel really happy. Covered the bases. You're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome. And I'm really excited for the show tonight. Hey, I'm Lights, and you're watching Blastro.